Excuse me. All right.
Remind me what's weird about this boss. I'm pretty sure I just used a skill champ.
God, I'm gonna sneeze. Aha! Found the button in time.
Okay. So yeah, we just want purifies. I used Jabari, right? But so many would work. Um. Oh, this is the tech one. Okay, power drain, burn, lock, shock. Oh, that's right. Power lock works on this. I forgot that last time. This is the one that Penny's disgusting for.
All right, let's do that.
There she is. Do we want stun immunity? I feel like this is probably more important. That could be helpful. Definitely not that. Yeah, let's just bring him in. And just cause. Cool. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Much as I enjoy Penny on this node, for a mutant, we're gonna go Nimrod.
Bro. Bro. Thank you. Let's see if we can avoid the whole strife hits into us and removes our unstoppable thing.
Okay, never mind. The fight's over. That takes care of that.
I hope y'all aren't chatting because I'm not seeing anything. I'll refresh in a second. This is a little bit past the time when I have more than 2 or 3 viewers and normally I see something.
$23 each. Woo! That was gross. Lo and behold, I knew people were chatting. Hey everyone. TJB, Booba, Luis, how's it going? Omega Sentinel with Nimrod? That makes a lot of sense, TJ. Mine's still ranked 2, but maybe I'll try her out on another path. Yeah, the shock power drain, but it also triggers on power lock, which is why Penny just looked like that. Hey Luis, thanks. Maybe I should have brought the one that allows me to parry non-contacts. Oh well. That should be enough, honestly. Yeah, not quite. Alright. Well, that's fine. That was my bad there. For some reason I thought I got a parry in. You tackled the gauntlet, did it the classic way. Sick 200 egg. Yeah, that'll do it. That does make sense as prep for Abyss. Good luck with those. I really hate when that happens. I mean, it's nice that she will auto-block for you, but really felt like a parry. It's interesting that I got credit for this shock finish there. Okay, so this one should be wildly slow. And I probably should have used Nimrod. But we can go to the special 3. He's still hitting plenty hard. Oh, question. For the chat in general. So obviously armor reduces special 3 damage. No question about that. But resistances do as well, right? I was having a discussion with somebody about this the other day, and I'm pretty confident that the adaptive node on the war boss reduces special 3 damage, but it's been a long time since I've actually tried to test this. So does anyone like have experience in that realm where they're particularly confident of that?
No, it is not clear what type of damage a special 3 deals, TJ. That's exactly where the disagreement comes in. Because on Aunt May it's not listed as typed, and we generally trust Aunt May for this stuff.
Oh, whether the buffs are paused or not isn't the issue, Bleezy. We're talking about the damage calculation. And armor is a stat that doesn't necessarily just live on buffs. Um, so, like, one way to test this that I probably will do at some point is to just, like, go to a special 3 with Odin against Yellow Jacket specifically, throw it, and then go to a special 1 and then a special 3 with Odin against Yellow Jacket to see if the damage is different, because that's about as clean as you can do it. I just haven't done it yet. Because I remember back in the day, I stopped using Hyperion against Medusa bosses for this explicit reason. Because the special threes that were your safest way of landing damage just stopped doing anything. And it's hard for me to reconcile that memory of throwing a special 3 against Medusa, who has no native armor, and having like 3 cosmic charges and 7 furies, and having it do like no damage.
It's hard for me to reconcile that with the idea that special 3s would ignore such things. Alright, now we need to wait out the stun. Oh well. Whoop, that was bad. Alright. Alright, let's get him to throw this first this time. Alright.
And honestly, this Yellow Jacket fight right here is making me think that again.
Because 53,000 with a Fury that size is not a lot, especially with Power Shield. Dang it. Having trouble with the dexes here.
Yeah, that's true, Sarah Ghost. It's not a bad idea. bothered by how undervalued Jabari is. Me too, man. Like, I messed that fight up a little bit, but she's so good.
All right, Nimrod, it is. Once again, I have not read the node. In general, I'm not itching for another difficulty of EQ myself. I understand why people are, but it's not really something that speaks to me. Where am I going with this? But as far as difficulty goes, I definitely get where it comes from, because my roster's good. It's not good enough that I should be able to just cruise through the highest difficulty available every month without reading. Outdamaged an Archangel with her? Nice, TJ. Yeah, I definitely had some good wins with her as well. How's it going, Cream Cheese? Hey, Devil Dog. Do I think Corvus is back in the war meta? I don't think Corvus ever left the war meta, Luis. Did you see all of Liser's videos about this is why you should ban Corvus? I definitely think he's going to be very dangerous this season. And I don't think a rank 4 Corvus is insane. The only thing I'm pushing back on is the idea that he wasn't already insane. That's awesome to hear, Saraghost. I'm glad that guide holds up for you, because I have not looked at it in a while. I do plan to release an update a little bit once I'm done, and I know Vega's doing an update on his spreadsheet with, like, this is who the rankings team used. $13K per tick. Woof. But yeah, I'm glad that one held up. Corvus has arguably the strongest influence on defenses? Absolutely. Like, I'm literally working on our defense right now. And it's so insane how you just scroll right through a full freaking third of the game going Corvus charge, Corvus charge, Corvus charge, Corvus charge. Like, I kind of despise him. Like, the tech thing makes sense. I think if I had say on Corvus being released today, I would just remove the mutant mission. I don't think it makes any sense for a Cosmic to have that warping of an influence on a class 2 slots away. The evade is pretty freaking nuts, too. Like, how stupid is it that
The existence of Corvus Glaive has turned auto block and evasion into a liability on Alliance War defense. Like that, it feels so weird to say out loud, but it is absolutely correct. R4 Corvus or Rintra? I think they're both worthy. B, did you rank 4 Rintra, or are you just planning to? I completely forget at this point. That was weird. That was very weird. Alright, well, we're gonna have to wait out those, lose some charges. Say la vie, throw your special. Can take up 5-star Red Hulk and Angela. Or rank 2 Sorcerer Supreme. I think I'd work on Sorcerer Supreme. In general, if you have a good 6-star to work on, that takes precedence, in my opinion. It's too easy to work defense around Corvus. I don't agree at all, TJ, because, like, yes, you can work defense around him, but that doesn't change the fact that he's so warping. Mutants and Techs, 2 of the 6 classes in the game, being a liability. Evasion and Autoblock, 2 of what should be some of the most threatening defensive abilities in the entire game, being a liability. That's disgusting on one champion. It doesn't matter if you can plan around him. The point is that you are. Hey, Max, congrats on Thronebreaker. Only poison immune champs you have are Darkhawk and Red Hulk? Well, then I could see you making preference for Red Hulk. But I would then come back to Sorcerer. You did rank 4, Rintra. Very nice. I hope I can still pull him. Nerf power boosts? Yeah, there is that. I think it was Campo who had the idea of just making them mutually exclusive with gray boosts. Like the same way that class boosts are currently mutually exclusive with themselves, you cannot have a Tech 150 and a Cosmic 150. If you made it so that trying to apply an advanced power start meant that you had to remove your power boost or vice versa, I think that would go a very long way. Force Corvus to actually gain 2 bars of power on his own and see how many people die with him. He'd still be strong, but it'd be way, way better. This amount of Corvus hate can only come from a war planner. You might be right. I imagine you'd hear something similar from Kabam's quest designers, too. Why do you think so many defenders have such beefy health pools these days? Although, really, a quest designer and a war planner... like a defensive war planner. How different is that, really? A lot of the same intellectual muscles. Don't plan and you're full of Corvus hate, you are work. You do think a bit more like an officer for these things than most people who haven't worn that hat much, but yeah, it's definitely not a requirement. I'd like for Kabam to raise the health pool on the defenders in war. See, that's the problem, is that if you raise the health pool on defenders as your only way of stopping Ghost, Corvus, Nick, Hercules, etc., if that's your answer, or if that's your answer to power back boosts, then what are you doing to champions like Guardian or Sam Wilson or like just Penny Parker, anyone else who was designed for war but doesn't have that stupid synergy with those effects? I don't personally see it as an answer. Like, that's exactly why Corvus is a problem. That's exactly why power boosts are a problem, because there isn't an easy answer that doesn't warp the rest of the game. If there was, I wouldn't care. Because it would have been taken by now. Rude. Hey, William. There's so many videos you've seen on YouTube showing players come so close to dying and didn't. But is that the health pools or is that the boosts, cream cheese? How much of that is the health pools and how much of that is, oh, I only needed one special too and then the fight was over? So I didn't actually need to survive that much longer. I didn't have to earn another special. Is that the health pools or is that, well, I could tank 3 full special 3s so I can play absolutely balls to the wall and I don't care about power control? That entire axis of defensive challenge is just removed unless I'm facing somebody with a stun or like a passive I'm not immune to on their special 3. They can fix it by not releasing 7-star Corvus. I don't agree at all. That's not the answer. That's such an incredibly slow way to answer any kind of meta imbalance. Like, it's glacial. And it also ignores one other problem. One thing that we keep saying, or that I keep saying over and over again, is that if 7 stars come out, the goal, like what we want from Kabam, is for it to not feel like when 6 stars came out. And for that to be true, the release of 7 stars has to have something built into it that doesn't fully invalidate 6 stars. And if you don't fully invalidate 6 stars, how much are you really locking Corvus out? Because everything you're saying, user, oh, just invalidate Corvus faster, you have to remember that invalidates all of your other 6 stars faster too. Again, the problem with these meta imbalances is that there is not a clean answer because so many of the things that people say, oh, this would do it, would also hit everyone else. Surgery by shotgun is not where we want to go here. 7-star gates in Alliance War.
I'm not going to repeat myself.
If that doesn't prove the point I just made, nothing does. Ouch. Dang it.
This
guy's not being very nice. I'm also not playing terribly skillfully, but come on.
He is just not going for intercepts. Ah. All right.
Is SSX taking this upcoming season off? Not really. We're going for a hybrid approach in that we are fully planning wars. We are expecting people to duel. We are expecting rainbow boosts. We are expecting you to try, but we are not expecting you to use loyalty resources. So potions, class boosts, gray boosts, those are not expected. And therefore deaths will go up, right? Because we're going to be leaning on the cheap revives. But that doesn't mean deaths don't matter. And will that land us in Master? That depends on how many other people are doing the same thing versus pushing versus taking things completely off. I really don't know. I don't have that data. But I do think that it will allow us to build loyalty this season, which we owe our members, and still actually try in war, which I think we also owe our members. Because just like 3 months of off season is relaxing, but it's also boring as sin. And yeah, hard disagree on the hidden defenders. Like, again, don't make me tap the sign. And the sign in this case is DLL's first first rule of Alliance War, which is that most things that make war, quote, more interesting, in reality just make life for officers harder. And hidden defenders are no exception. That is not the answer. Oh, sorry, Bleezy. Can rank 2 either CGR or Ultron, but have both of them as max 5 stars? Would either benefit more as a 6 star, or should I just wait until I can rank 3 them? I think I'd probably wait. Because Ultron in particular likes high sig, so the 5 star has a bit of an edge. CGR, the 6 star will pull ahead, but you want at least the dupe. And rank 2 versus rank 5 isn't big. CGR isn't one of those where adrenaline is particularly important. Yeah. Kind of along the lines of what Eduardo was saying. I think part of the reason for the officer thing, I have to mention it because I see more support for the hidden defender thing in chat. Part of the problem here is that not all alliances approach things the same way. For a lot of alliances, it's enough for you to just do, like, to get 80% of the equity, right? By which I mean, oh, okay, I need to do 80% of the things that make me more likely to win, and that's enough to win enough of the time that I'm happy. The last 20%, it's too much effort. Why should I worry about that? That's not fun for me. And that's fine. But you have to remember that there are people for whom getting 100% of the equity is the fun. And so then that last 20% of, oh god, I have to try and figure out who's on every node. Let me, like, Start tracking defenses, because I know a lot of you didn't do this the last time defenses were hidden. But for those of us who are at the competitive upper edge, you did take notes on defenses. And if you were trying to be more principled, then you didn't share those defenses with other alliances, but an awful lot of alliances did. It would be like, oh, you guys played ASR last week. Can you send us their defense? Because if nothing else, even if they move things around, that gives us a decent idea of who this one player placed. And if that sounds awful to you, and if that sounds like a whole lot of politics in a competitive game mode that shouldn't be there, you're correct. But that's the thing, is there will always be alliances that chase all of the equity. It's the same reason that limiting power back boosts doesn't actually get rid of power back boosts with the change they're making to the store. What it does is it makes it so that alliance officers at the top now have to track who has cosmic power back boosts, who has tech, who has mutant. And then you can't just send, I can't send nerd over and over again for the same CGR fights because he might run out of cosmic boosts. I can send nerd this week, and then next week he gets the Nebula fights, and somebody else gets the Corvus fights. But now that's more work for me, right? All of these things matter. Yeah, and that's to say nothing of the fact that hidden defenders can be extremely unpleasant for individual players. If you run into that stuff and you get surprised, yeah, I'm with work there. Do I play any games out of MCOC?
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, I've been kind of casually playing Mirrorverse as well. I enjoy that.
See, what am I trying to say? Oh, I also have streamed a little bit of Elden Ring on this channel. I've been playing Divinity Original Sin 2 lately. And I think Immortal Empires is about to drop in Total War Warhammer. And so I'm very much looking forward to that.
I might even stream a little bit of that if y'all are interested.
Yeah, David, that's a good way to put it. Artificial difficulty that nobody particularly enjoys, except the masochists who enjoy dice rolls on everything. And you know what? That's fine. Let them be. But that, like Nerd said, I would not enjoy that. It would take a lot of what's good about war out of it. Am I explaining the economic concept of diminishing returns? Not really. Like, it's related, but that's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, you cannot design a healthy mode for the 80th percentile of effort. You have to think about the 99th, or you're going to miss things. Yeah, OIC. Agreed. Agreed with you too, KT. How's it going, man? Someone needs to explain that to Caban. I am in the CCP now. I'm doing my best. And I'm not alone. There are other Tier 1 officers in there.
And they listen more than I think people think they do.
Oh, have you not done Gauntlet yet either, KT? I was considering doing it this weekend as well.
Jesus, that was bad. This is exactly why it's difficult to isolate input issues, because you really have to be paying close attention to pick out the difference between the AI stutter stepping and a true missed parry. Explain war rewards otherwise? That's an easy one, man. They underestimated the impact in this season and/or decided that the positive impact to the vast majority of people who played War outweighed the negative impact to those who play it more seriously. And they figured that that was a price worth paying to roll this out sooner and then buff War rewards next season. You can disagree with that, but I think the explanation is there. Because, I mean, to kind of answer what David's saying, it's really easy to look at any decision that Kabam makes and say, why don't they keep people happy? You always have to throw in, am I upset that they're not keeping people happy, or am I upset that they're not keeping me happy? And how representative of the average player am I, actually? That's a hard question to answer, and I'm not always perfect about it. But I think this loyalty store update is one where a lot of people think they're more representative than they are. It was presented to Tier 1 officers, and there were objections. But again, that means they disagree. I mean, it doesn't. I get where you're coming from, man, but honestly, that doesn't mean they're not listening. Like, I can listen to you in an argument and still end up doing something you don't like, right? Because listening does not always mean being persuaded. Using CGR and Gauntlet was pretty fun. Nice, nerd. The average player looks at the master rewards and feels they don't need to buff those. That's probably true. The average player is absolutely wrong in that, but that is probably true. You did Gauntlet twice already? Oh, okay, cool. That does make sense. Thanks, Shippy. I appreciate the super chat. Yeah, exactly, David. That's kind of what I keep coming back to with Kabam. It's like there are things I ask myself for each disagreement I have with them, or at least with the specific parts of Kabam that we're talking to at any given moment, right? Because it's not a monolith. We are talking about different teams.
But when I disagree with a specific team within Kabam, I have to ask myself, okay, how representative am I, and how representative are my concerns? If I still think that that's important, then do they understand my problem? And then if they are choosing to act against my concerns, do they have valid reasons that I disagree with? Or do they have stupid reasons that tell me I still think they don't understand it? In this particular case, I think it's valid reasons I disagree with. But in the interest of being fair, if we go back and look at something like the trade-in store last year, that was something where I thought that there's no way to explain that. There's no good way to defend constantly telling players don't hoard things and then dropping a massive reward for only players that hoard things. Absolutely not. And I have told anyone at Kabam that will listen to me exactly that. Nope, throw it. Thank you. I need a little more room on my power bar. That's fine. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, KT. I do. And I also do want to separate my ability to come to peace with their decisions, which I think is an important exercise, from the idea of me just accepting anything they do without speaking further, right? Like, I can accept short term what they've done on power back boosts, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop saying that isn't enough. You're just making officers' lives harder, right? That's kind of where I'm going, is the ability to be at peace, but not to shut up and take it, right? That's a delicate balance, but I think it's an important one in life in general. Haven't seen Liser's video on why Corvus should be banned, but should he be banned? It kind of depends on what else you're going to do. Liser's point, and the same one that I agree with, is basically that if you do not ban Corvus, you need to take him into account in planning your defense. That's really what it comes down to. If you ban Corvus, you can do whatever the heck you want with Corvus charges. If you don't ban Corvus, and you're putting easy evade champs and tech champs and mutants in the first half of the map, or right before difficult tech defenders or auto block defenders, you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's kind of what she was saying. And that's 100% true. Hey, PWF, how's it going, man? Nice, Madrox, that makes sense for Gauntlet. You wouldn't be surprised if there was a limit on the one loyalty revives? I would. That's, to me, I think that crosses the line into paranoia. I don't think Kabam's going to do that just to hurt us. The whole point of the one loyalty revives was effectively to make reviving free, so that participating does not have a cost, competing does. I'm not saying there's zero chance I'm correct on this, but I really don't expect that, William. That feels like a distinction without a difference, Coat. You know what I mean. Yeah, I'm still low on gold as well, Shibby. I mean, part of that is just I haven't recovered from July 4th, and I'm guessing neither have you.
But I would love to see a bit more in the game. My friend. Throw, please. Dude, stop waiting out the shock. I know what you're doing. Thank you.
Well, that's a different problem, user. There's a huge difference between sitting on resources you can't use, which is what you're describing, and sitting on resources that you can use, but aren't using because you think Kabam's going to reward you for sitting on them. Because the answer to the former is Kabam needs to introduce new ways in the game for you to offload those resources. Like, make it so that you can sell those extra 4-star Sig Stones for a significant amount of gold. So there's a real trade off there. How do you answer the gold shortage? Okay, how about I am allowed to sell all of these resources I'm sitting on that I can't use because of where my account progression is, but actually sell them for amounts that will matter to me. That's how you can go about that. That's very different than I'm just going to sit on these regardless of what you offer them for me, or offer me for them. Because at some point I'm going to be able to trade them in for 6-star resources. That's a huge, huge difference. I disagree, Coat. Oh, God. Forgot about this.
Alright, well, this fight's gonna take a while. At least we have that heal block. That'll help.
There we go. Perfect timing of the heal block. Nice, 616. Congrats on that. Yeah, I agree, Shippy. And I have already proposed that in the CCP. Doesn't mean they'll do it, but something. Hey, Meta, how's it going, man? That's funny to hear, nerd. Because I think it should be more. Whoops. Really thought that was a parry. But it's cool that they add up for you. That doesn't bother me, William. In case you haven't heard the designer's rationale for that, the idea was that nullify on Gallon doesn't really help you. Because the whole reason he wants to gain buffs is not for the sake of the buffs, but for the planetary mass he gains with each buff. So if you nullify them after they activate, he still has the mass. The harvest will still happen. You'll still take damage. So the point of making him nullify immune, and he's not stagger immune, for the record, but the point of making him nullify immune is to encourage you to use other answers because nullify isn't going to work anyway, and to try and push you towards actually feeling like he's less of a BS defender. Now, you can argue about the Fate Seal immunity. I'm not going to disagree there. But I think with Neutralize and Stagger and other options, because remember, he can also be controlled by frequent specials, I'm fine with it. Because Nullify and Fate Seal are such incredibly binary abilities that if you never cross that line, you're going to have a real difficulty making relevant Cosmic Defenders. I understand what you're saying with the Cyclops thing, Coat, but I don't think that you're correct on this one. And I've talked to Mike about it.
But we don't need to litigate it.
Yeah, and like the fact that it makes thank you, True Potential. I knew I was forgetting something. Claire getting a boost from it is also something I like. Nova flamed Gallon with a torch. And there is that. You just got Valkyrie? Congrats, work. Funny meta. Yeah, I do like that the Gallon Crystal's different, David. I agree there.
Aha. Does this still do it? Nope. Yeah, I threw it just too early. That's fine, that's why we're running miles. Tigra, do you mind? Fine. Come here.
Nova Flame immunity. I am confident they have thought about it, but that's just like so nakedly aimed at one character. It's kind of a silly design without like a powerful lore reason, right? wailed out and failed out. That's funny. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Oh, congrats, David. That's huge. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Energize. Power shield makes it fine. Alright, that was a little better. Jabari's just so good for this. When am I going to rank 4 Jabari? It might happen, man. I don't know, though. I think the next one's going to be Hyperion.
Alright, I need to go get some lunch before dinner, so I'm going to take off. But I will go ahead and end this on a happy note. I don't care. I'm probably going to run out of Science ISO, so I might as well do that.
Yeah, R4 Hype. He's one of my old favorites. It makes sense. And he's going to be an absolute monster on attack and probably defense for the next couple seasons, and he's very good in Battlegrounds.
Pretty easy call, honestly. Alright, now I'm ready for Gauntlet.
Alright, that's the stream, everyone. I will catch y'all later, but I definitely have to run and grab some food. So, until then, thanks for hanging out. This was a good one. Lots of good discussion. And I'll see y'all soon. Maybe I'll finally get the last 3 wars of last season out. I know that's something that I plan on doing a highlight reel of soon. Anyway, take care, everyone. Everyone. I don't know. I can't speak. I'm too hungry. Later, all.